Hey, yeah, I told y'all we was working today. What's poppin', gang?
Loving my crew.
All right, man, listen. We got another video for y'all. Like I said, bro, it's like sometimes that it's just spitfire reactions, spitfire news is happening right now, man. We just did the mall and academics video, man. So we are back with another one. Do me a favor, hit that like button if you guys haven't done it already. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications so you guys know when we go live. We got another one though, man. Shout out to Chigs again for Joe Budden banning Drake from the Joe Budden Podcast after dissing Rob Markman now and hip hop media. Now I did react to the whole Rob Markman thing. I just hadn't had time to put the video out. I feel like I put out like 4 videos yesterday. I didn't want to make it 5 or 6, so I held on to it. But we've already got a response. So if you guys don't know, Rob Markman is a voice in hip hop media that is very much respected. You guys can make sure you guys go check out his channel as well. But you know, Drake called him a goof, right? Drake called him a goof for not knowing the next Wayne lyric as Tory Lanez was rapping it to him. And there's also a little bit of history there where per Rob Markman, he was reached out to from Drake's camp during the beef to quote unquote show some love to the boy during the battle, and he declined. So this is kind of like one of them hissy fits that we're seeing from it at this point now, at least per Rob Markman. So let's go ahead and get into this video and see what Joe Budden has to say about banning Drake from the Joe Budden Podcast. Like I said, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and get into it.
YouTube. Chicks. Get ready. You know what to do, Chicks.
So let's hit Chick Smooth.
Hey, Chick Smooth. Appreciate all the coverage that you've been doing. I've been watching your shit for a while. I just subscribed to your shit too, bro.
Oh boy, here we go, you guys. Drizzy Drake. You see what happens when you attack a hip-hop journalist unprovoked? Somebody that minds their business, you went out of your way to go call him a goof. Bruh. For what? Was it worth it? Now, luckily for...
And from what I understand, from what everybody was telling me, is that goof in Canada means PDF. Now, I don't know if that's real or not, so y'all can let me know in the comments. If you're watching, you from Canada, or you understand the vernacular or lingo around there, let me know, bro. But I heard that goof means PDF, and if it does, it's kind of weird to go around calling somebody a goof if that's what that means. And you know, when you're in the situation that you're in.
Drake, Rob actually spared him. He responded back on his channel to Drake and said, bro, I have no issues with you. All I do is critique music. I tell people what I like, what I don't like, and I'm positive over here. You're not gonna get me to crash out, buddy. And let's be honest here, Drake. If I joke back and call you a name, you might sue me. Now, all this also happens after Drake announced he was doing another interview podcast with Bobby Altoff. Drake caught a lot of heat, backlash, and outrage from a lot of people saying, bro, what makes you think that we want to sit through another interview with you and Bobby? You keep going to these platforms to avoid having to answer questions about the beef and the battle with Kendrick. Even DJ Academics told him yesterday, Drake, after you put out this upcoming album, Iceman, you're going to eventually have to sit down and do an interview with an actual platform. A platform that's not going to glaze you. A platform that's...
Who do y'all believe is getting the first Iceman interview? At post Iceman, what platform is getting that interview? Let me know in the comments. If it's not the JBP, I mean, I can only see it being Akamal. I can only see it being that. And I mean, even Ak said in due time, maybe he knows something we don't know. Maybe it could be that. Bro, let me know. I could think of other podcasts, but I just don't know if he would go there to promote. So let me know who y'all think is getting the next interview.
It's going to hold your feet to the fire and ask you hard questions. Well, today on the Joe Budden Podcast, episode 855, make sure you guys go check it out on Spotify or Apple Music. Joe was not a fan of Drake disrespecting Rob, so much so that he told Drake, you are never invited to my podcast. If you're going to continue to attack black media and diss black journalists, you are not welcome to the biggest podcast in hip hop.
Yeah.
But okay, so somebody pulled up an old Rob Markman clip of him interviewing Tory Lanez, where Tory Lanez was spitting a Lil Wayne verse, and I guess he stopped at the end of the final bar so Rob could say it with him, and Rob didn't. So Drake comments underneath, says, of course, this goof Markman can't finish the bar. Rob Markman responds underneath the comment. Ooh, comment beef. Responds underneath the comment and says, what did Rob Markman say? He said, well, I would call you names too, but you would sue. And then that was the end of the exchange. Yeah. So the next day I go to get my manicure.
That was a good one.
It's a good comeback.
That's a nice comeback right there.
That was a body shot.
That was a body shot.
I seen a tweet earlier. Someone called him Supac.
So then the next day I'm getting my manicure and Rob responds on his platform, YouTube. And he's like, my response to, or whatever the caption said. And I click it, and boy, was this just the fucking cleanest reply that you could do. And I was so mad at Mark. I was so mad at Rob Markman. Too classy.
I loved it.
Nah, I like it. It was shady, but classy.
Why does Drake have such beef with Rob Markman? That's the thing I don't get.
I don't know.
Because for Drake to be Drake and take the time to actually go into the comments of a random post to come after,
like we said at the beginning of the video, there's some history there. If per Rob, if he declined to show some love or push a narrative for them, now he's an enemy for life.
Some old ass content,
right? Yeah. It seemed weird to me.
Not to me. He seems to have beef with the way that everybody covered the Kendrick battle who didn't suck his dick.
Got it. Yeah. Okay,
Facts.
that makes sense.
He has a problem if you went to the show and if he spoke to you. I think he just thinks that people sided with Kendrick and didn't give him a fair shot, and that manifests in these stupid beefs like this one.
Yeah, and he's been on that since the battles, really. Maybe before the battles. Some of the criticism has been taking place. I read an article in the New Yorker, actually, the other day talking about the decline of music review in general, music criticism in general, how like in the Rolling Stone or whatever, they used to just fucking bash people. And now it doesn't really happen as much because, partially at least because of fan bases being so rabid and annoying that it's like it's not even worth
That's a good point.
scathing somebody over.
Right.
And,
That's a great point.
and to your point too, the person themselves can now just fire back.
Or now I'm never gonna do anything with you guys.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna punish you for
Maybe I
it.
just didn't like your album, bro.
The artists that want you to review their music, I feel like you can tell now. And most artists don't want you to review their music.
Unless it's positive.
I think a lot of artists just don't want you to review the music. When Killer Mike came up here, when Jid came up here, when Offset came up here, you could just tell the people that, have you heard this album?
Yeah,
right.
What did you think? I'm here to hear what you
that's
think.
because they probably understand the fact that they've put a lot of effort. You said Killer Mike, you said Jid. I don't know if you said somebody else. But those are two artists that you would think that kind of Offset. They've put a lot of energy and a lot of effort into the project. It's taken them probably months, if not years, to do this work. Clips, right? They're very proud of the work that they do and they stand behind it. So the people who are, wary of criticism, those are typically the people who probably haven't put as much effort into it and don't want you to criticize the project, because that person who put a lot of energy into it probably also is okay with you saying, you know what, I didn't necessarily care for this. Okay, cool, smooth. That's cool. I'm gonna move on. It's not gonna hurt me either way. You know what I'm saying? But somebody who may not want that criticism is already feeling some kind of way about the work that they've produced, right? Like maybe they feel a little self-conscious about it because maybe they know that they haven't done something that is, worthy of praise, right?
Versus the people that are playing a different game that don't really care about the reviews. They want to go to their controlled places,
Environment.
like their streamer that they fuck with, or Apple, or Spotify, or Zane, or just whoever they're going to. Not somewhere that's so
critical,
irregulated.
That's why I would love to see Drake, because I actually think Drake is a good interview. I think he's interesting and smart and funny and thoughtful, but he so rarely now goes to any platforms where he can demonstrate those things outside of the controlled environment.
I was just about to say, because he cannot control the environment. He can't control it. If it's not somebody who he has a vested interest in, right? Like a Aiden or somebody, Aiden ain't gonna tell that man that shit is whack. He ain't gonna tell him that. He ain't gonna tell him that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, he got to go to people who gonna tell him, yo, I don't like this, but I like this, or I really don't like this at all, or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
You know, like he's about to do this. I know he's about to do this.
Bobby,
another thing with Bobby, another podcast. I would love to see him go out. It doesn't have to be here, although I think it'd be amazing here. But like, I
not invited up here, buddy.
Fair enough.
Not invited. But see, I like the running theme of that. I like his problem with hip hop media, and I like hip hop media's problem with him. I don't want it to end.
Just see, I want some answers.
I think I've gotten all the answers that I was looking for.
They've kind of manifested themselves. Back to your point that all the beefs that he's had with what's my man's name on YouTube that he was firing at before with the glasses, Fantano. Fantano. Like he was firing at him however many years ago. Rob, now everyone, you,
but
us.
There's no accountability for it. Like we may get our answers for why we think he did a thing, but I think there's something interesting about saying, Drake, why did you do that?
Right.
Why would you pick this? Why do you have picks? Or why did you make this choice?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I've been saying the whole time. The question to him is not necessarily about. To me, the question is, why did you do that thing? Specifically that. Don't beat around the bush, right? Why did you sue? Why did you egg Kendrick on to do what he did? Why did you egg him on? Why did you behave that way specifically? Those are the questions that people want answered. And once they figure that out, they can form a much better opinion. Right now, it's like, we don't know why you did all of that. And then why are you behaving the way you're behaving? So I agree with Mark in this point specifically, but some of the other stuff he was saying, I'm not too.
Why would you pick this? Why do you have picks? Or why did you make this choice? Or why do you think you wanted to beef? Or why do you think you didn't want to beef? Whatever the thing is, whatever feelings he's feeling, we get it through the music, we get it through representation, but we don't get it from him on the platforms where people can ask questions back. And I just don't like that. And it's not just him. I mean, we see that with a lot of big stars. They just don't go on platforms anymore.
Yeah, but it's different with him because now every day or for the rest of time, it just looks like a music video for Not Like Us. That's why. Stay over there with Aiden Ross. Stay over there with Bobby. Stay wherever you feel comfortable at. Oh. Right? You still not. That's still a controlled environment.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's what I'm saying.
But stay over there. Like, I kind of take offense that he even is calling Rob Markman a goof.
Yeah.
Rob Markman is comfortable in his skin.
Yes.
Never did nothing wrong
and a
to
good dude.
nobody.
Yeah.
Just a good dude all around the board.
That gives a fuck about music, by the way.
He loves music, loves hip hop. He's fucking
that part.
Now, this is not the first time that Joe has hinted at not wanting to interview Drake. After Drake and Bobby did their first interview 2 years ago, Joe stated that Drake likes to control interviews. He likes to make edits. Basically, he has full control of the interview and how the interview comes out.
Which, now, at Drake's level, that's fine, right? That's fine, bro, that you want to carefully orchestrate it, carefully conduct it. You want everything, like, at that level, bro, that's fine. But at some point, when things get hairy, right? When things get kind of like, okay, nigga, you can, it's not going, we don't want the polished look, nigga. We want to know, like, down to the nitty gritty, like, what's going on, bro? Because now niggas is looking at you like, is something wrong with you? Like, did you grow up? Like, what is the reason why you behaving the way you behaving? That's it.
I believe Nicki Minaj also interviews the same way. She wants full control of everything that's said. She wants to see the final copy of the interview. And Nicki is somebody that Joe has sat with and done interviews with twice now. Plus, we've also seen Joe go on record and tell the audience that he's phony. Joe has gone back on certain things he said he would never do in the past. So, if Drake calls Joe tomorrow or even next year and says, yo, I want to get on the podcast, do you guys think Joe will actually turn down the offer? This morning.
Short answer, no. That check is dumb. It's Patreon, he's taking that interview. Like, him saying that is a little bit less. He banned him from the show, which was interesting. He's done it before. But I think it's just shock value, right? Like, I don't think there's any real meaning behind it.
Then Drake fans were pissed off hearing Joe Budden ban Drake from his podcast.
Really?
So Drake fans went digging. They found this old IG live from Joe Budden and Drake. This was back in 2020, quarantine times, where Joe and Drake were joking and laughing and talking about possibly interviewing with each other. You guys know exactly what's going to happen next, right? We're going to see Petty Drake in rare form. So that means Drake is going to start playing chess with Joe once again. This means we're now going to be seeing a little bit more shots at Joe from Drake. We're going to see some name calling. Drake will now start to show love to platforms that Joe does not rock with. So that means we might see a possible Maul Drake interview in the future. Maybe a Taxstone Drake interview from jail. Shit, maybe even Drake and Troy Ave interview soon. Who knows? The man is petty. Either way, this is going to be very interesting moving forward. Even if Drake had no intentions of going up to the Joe Budden podcast, I'm sure after hearing Joe say he's never going to be invited to the podcast, Drake is going to be taking it very personal. You guys get in the comments below. What do you guys make of Joe saying Drake is never invited up to the podcast?
Yeah, bro. Like I said, I think it's a little bit more shock value because if Drake called him today and was like, "Hey, bro, let's I got a lot of things I want to say," they taking that interview, bro. Like it may, even if it's not the entire cast, Joe is taking that interview, and you know they chasing Shannon Sharp at this point for interview numbers, and I think that would, I don't know if it'd do that crazy, but definitely be something that people would be interested in watching. So I don't see the capitalist nature of Joe and what we've seen, the earnings, and keeping all of that in mind, what a Drake interview would do for the Joe Budden podcast. So let me know how y'all feel about that in the comments, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Like I said, turn on the notification bell so you guys know when we go live. You guys can follow me at all my socials if you want, man. And also join the Discord. Link is in the description. I'll see y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace.